The auction block on Kepler Station hummed with the electric anticipation of credits changing hands. Slave traders from across the galactic consortium had gathered to witness something unprecedented, the sale of a human. Captain Zektar adjusted his ceremonial tusks, his crimson eyes gleaming with satisfaction. The Vraxian had spent 3 cycles hunting this particular prize through the Outer Rim territories. Humans were myth, legend, whispered stories told in the darkest corners of space stations. Until now, the human sat cross-legged in the containment field, seemingly oblivious to the dozens of alien eyes studying him like a curious artifact. Marcus Chen appeared unremarkable by most standards. Average height, lean build, dark hair disheveled from weeks in captivity. His clothes were torn and stained, but his brown eyes held an unsettling calm that made even veteran slavers uncomfortable. Lot 779, the auctioneer announced, his translator crackling through the station's old speakers. 1 human male, approximate age 30 standard cycles. Bidding starts at 5,000 credits, the crowd stirred. Ambassador Thexrin of the hegemony leaned forward in her hovering throne, gill slits fluttering with excitement. She had been searching for unique specimens to add to her private menagerie. A human would be the crown jewel of her collection. 10,000, she called, her voice carrying the authority of someone accustomed to getting what she wanted. 15, countered General Korth, the Mantari warlord's insectoid features clicking with interest. He needed gladiators for his arena worlds, and stories claimed humans possessed an almost supernatural resilience. The bidding escalated quickly. 20,000. 30. 50. The human remained motionless throughout, as if the fate being decided around him was merely background noise. At 100,000 credits, Ambassador Thexerin's final bid silenced the auction hall. The gavel fell with finality, sold to the hegemony delegation. Captain Zektar's mandibles clicked in pleasure. 100,000 credits for a single slave was a record, even by consortium standards. As Thexerin's guards approached the containment field with their suppression chains, Zektar allowed himself to imagine the fortress he would build with his newfound wealth. The chains were works of art in themselves, forged from quantum-locked tritanium, each link inscribed with neural dampeners that would suppress any attempt at resistance. They had subdued Vorgan berserkers and broken the will of Centauri psychics. No sentient being had ever escaped them. The field deactivated with a soft chime. The guards moved with practiced efficiency, expecting the usual struggles, pleas, or attempts to flee that marked the moment when hope died in a new slave's heart. Marcus Chen simply stood up. He watched with mild interest as they approached with the chains, the way someone might observe an interesting cloud formation. When the lead guard, a hulking Brentani with stone-like skin, reached for his wrists, Marcus extended his arms helpfully. The chains clicked into place around his wrists, ankles, and throat. Neural dampeners hummed to life, designed to flood his nervous system with compliance chemicals and suppress any aggressive impulses. The quantum locks engaged, creating bonds that could theoretically hold a small starship. Marcus examined the chains with the curiosity of a jeweler appraising his work. He lifted his wrists, watching how the tritanium caught the station's artificial light. The neural dampeners tickled slightly against his skin. Interesting craftsmanship, he murmured to himself. The guards exchanged glances. Most slaves either collapsed from the neural suppression or screamed as the reality of their situation hit them. This human seemed to be critiquing the quality of his bondage. Ambassador Thexrin approached, her scaled features arranged in what passed for a smile among her species. You belong to me now, human. You will be well cared for, provided you remember your place. Marcus nodded politely. I appreciate the courtesy, Ambassador. Though I should mention, he paused, rotating his wrists experimentally. The quantum-locked chains, designed to resist forces that could crack planets, simply came apart. The links didn't break. They didn't shatter or spark or show any sign of mechanical failure. They simply decided, in defiance of every law of physics the consortium understood, that they no longer wished to be chains. Marcus caught the falling links before they could hit the deck, examining them with genuine interest. The neural dampeners are actually quite soothing. May I keep these? The auction hall had gone dead silent. 100 species, each evolved under different stars, each with their own concepts of impossibility, all stared at the human who had just casually violated the fundamental laws of materials science. Without waiting for an answer, Marcus began draping the former chains around his neck and wrists like jewelry. The tritanium links caught the light beautifully, creating patterns that somehow seemed to improve his rather shabby appearance. The Vorgan restraints were too bulky, he continued conversationally, adjusting the chains until they sat just right. And don't get me started on Centauri neural mesh. Absolutely no sense of aesthetics. But these have style. Captain Zektar's mandibles had locked open in shock. How did you? Those chains are quantum locked. Nothing organic can. Oh, I'm sure they're very impressive, so Marcus agreed. But you see, the thing about humans is that we have this peculiar relationship with impossibility. We tend to take it as a suggestion rather than a rule. He walked toward the exit, the fallen guards too stunned to move. The crowd parted before him like water, every instinct screaming that they were in the presence of something that shouldn't exist. At the threshold, Marcus paused and turned back to the assembly. Thank you for the accessories. I'll be sure to mention where I got them when people ask. And with that, he strolled out of the auction hall, the most expensive chains in the galaxy, draped casually around his frame like the galaxy's most exclusive fashion statement. Behind him, the auction hall erupted into chaos. Credits were refunded, reputations questioned, and emergency communications sent to the Consortium Council. The human had walked away from quantum-locked tritanium chains as easily as shrugging off a light jacket. But Marcus Chen had already disappeared into the crowds of Kepler Station, humming softly to himself and admiring how nicely his new jewelry caught the light. After all, one being's imprisonment was another's accessory collection. The universe was vast and full of wonders, and humans had always been excellent at finding the opportunities hidden within other people's certainties. The chains looked quite good on him, he decided. Perhaps next time they'd bring something in gold.